YouTube. Hey guys. Hey, I'm gonna get this weekly recap squeezed in here real quick. I'm sitting at a pilot near Bath, New York. Little tiny pilot here. Middle of nothing. I gotta deliver first thing in the morning over in Hornell. So while I'm waiting for my laundry, I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick. So here we go. Start off picking up in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Went from Sterling Heights, Michigan to Moultrie, Georgia. I'm looking at the World Series game going on inside the subway right here, so excuse me. Rooting for the Indians. The Cubs are up 3-2 in this game right now. Indians are up 3-1 in the series. So hopefully they can pull it out tonight and just get it done and over with. But if not, next two games in Cleveland. But anyhow, delivered in Moultrie, Georgia. It was 34 deadhead miles from where I was sitting to go pick up in Sterling Heights. And then where I delivered was southern Georgia. But it was 955 paid miles. Southern Georgia, I've never done anything out of there. So I deadheaded up out of there. I stopped off in Jackson, Georgia for the rest of the day because I delivered first thing in the morning to Moultrie. If I recall correctly, that was some little or I shouldn't even say little. It was some big farm festival down there I delivered to. It was a freaking madhouse down here, but delivered to this farm festival. And took off out of there. Went straight up to Jackson, Georgia, which was, I think, right around 200 miles. So hurried up there, scooted up there, see if I can get anything out of there. And by the end of the day, which I didn't, so at the end of that day, which was Tuesday, I went ahead and deadheaded the rest of the way up to Duncan, South Carolina. So altogether it was like 355 deadhead miles. And I'm gonna put this, I haven't included like relocating deadhead mileage with my deadhead miles. I'm gonna start putting that on there so you get the, give you the full picture. I feel like I'm kind of like lightweight lying before when I wasn't putting that on there. So I'm gonna start putting that on there. I'm gonna list it as relocating deadhead miles. That's gonna be anytime I decide I don't like the area and I'm going somewhere else. The deadhead miles for the loads are just from where I'm sitting to go pick the load up. So that's going to be the difference. Give you a better idea of what I do. So anyhow, 355 miles to get up to Duncan. And again, relocated out of Jackson, which is just south of Atlanta, because I'm just not a fan of Atlanta. I just don't like the freight there. It seems oddball freight, and I don't know. I just don't like it there, and I don't really do well there. So I went up to Duncan. Ended up picking up out of Greenville, South Carolina, and that was 19 miles from where I was sitting. So 19 deadhead miles, and that was going to South Windsor, Connecticut. 847 paid miles. There was two drops on that one. The first one was in I don't have it written down, but I think it was like Britain, Connecticut, New Britain, Connecticut, something like that. I can't remember exactly right offhand because I didn't write it down on two stops, but they had two stops, and anytime we get two stops like that, you get paid like $25 is our usual fee for a double stop. So that was an extra $25 on top of the paid miles. But yeah, from South Windsor, Connecticut, went to Willington, which was not very far from there. Like maybe 15-20 miles. Oh. Sorry about that. That's my alarm. Let me know my damn laundry's done. So let me go in here and get my freaking laundry, and then I'll be right back. Stopping on South Windsor, Connecticut. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I had to throw my blanket in the washer and then throw my clothes in the dryer. So now I got about a half hour. Anyhow, start off in talking about the trip going to South Windsor. Sorry, I got texts going on too at the same time. Freaking 11 o'clock at night. Anyhow, South Windsor. As I said, I went to Willington, TA in Willington. It's pretty much the only thing really around there. It was, like I said, it was like 15-20 miles from there maybe. Might have been, I have to check that to be sure, but I'll put it on there. Anyhow, ended up picking up out of Lawrence, Massachusetts, which was a 90-mile deadhead to pick it up. And that went to Mishawaka, Indiana. 907 paid miles. Good thing about that trip is that it took me through Ohio, and it couldn't deliver until first thing, or no, it wasn't first thing, Monday, it was 11 o'clock Sunday night. And I picked that up on Friday. So I was able to stop by the house. Didn't get very much time at home, but I did get home for about 30 some odd hours. I went straight to the shop and got my brakes done on my van. So before I went anywhere, I went straight to the shop, got my brakes done. Me and my brother was going to do it, but it was cold and rainy, and a buddy of mine whose shop I usually go to, I didn't think I'd get it in there just because it was Saturday and it was last minute, and he's like really bad about not getting shit in at the last minute. So I happened to call him and ask him if it was okay to get parts through his shop, and that's when he offered to, you know, do the work for me. So took it in there, and good thing I did, because when they got the rear brakes off, the mounting bolts and the bolts for the brace, they were seized up. I mean, he had to take a torch to them and a impact chisel to pop them out of there. You know, if I would have done that at my brother's, then we would have never got him out, man. I'd ended up having to tow it to someplace like Goodyear or something, especially since I was under a load, because my buddy wouldn't have been open on Sunday. And anyhow, and then if I would have taken it to a shop, they would have been charging me for all this new shit. They would have never taken a torch and an impact and all that bullshit to pop those things out and clean them up and you know, do all that shit. So it was a good thing I took it there, saved me a bunch of money. But which, talking about that, brings me to I'm gonna start keeping I'm gonna start putting on here also. Again, if it's too much information for the videos, say it's too much, or maybe break it down into another type of video another day. But I was also wanting to put on like weekly expenses as far as maintenance or repairs, anything like that, added on top of the trip expenses. If you think that's a good idea, let me know. If you think it's a bad idea, let me know. Just whatever you think, let me know. Anyhow, I got the brakes done. Ended up being like about a 4 or 5 hour time span that I was there. It's he doesn't exactly run a normal shop, so some of it was kind of sidetracked, but most of it was working on it. So I'd say probably out of that 5 hours, probably about 3.5 hours was spent working on it. But got the front and rear rotors done, pads on front and rear, replaced the bearings in the front. The front bearings weren't bad or anything, but since I was putting rotors on the front, and the rotors and pads didn't have to be done in the front either, but I knew that the rotors were kind of you know, on the edge to begin with, and I wasn't sure whether it was a front or back that was going bad anyhow, so I bought that anyhow. So anyhow, because I bought the front rotors, went ahead and replaced the bearings. There's no sense in putting the old bearings on there if you're popping the bearings out, and anyhow you might as well put new ones in there. So I put new ones in there. And then parts and labor all together was like $520. He only charged me like 170 bucks. Well, I shouldn't say like. He charged me 170 bucks in labor to do the work. Got the parts at cost, which I always do through him. So, you know, that's the nice thing about having somebody that has a shop. But anyhow, that was the last trip. I, after I left the shop, went home, spent the night at home and everything, and then took off. And for the week, I had 2,709 miles, 143 deadhead miles for the loads themselves, and relocation deadhead miles totaled 375. And again, deadheading for relocation, it's an investment to me. I don't look at it as though I'm wasting money. Some people look at it that way. I don't look at it that way, because I'm only relocating if I'm in a shitty area. And just to, you know, again, be different if I relocate and then I sit, then yeah, that's a failed and wasted deadhead, you know. But anyhow, it's worked out. Excuse me. Yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, pretty much sums it up, man. Had another solid week, so that was good. Got some repairs done. Got quick home time. And oh yeah, that Sunday night was also the Walking Dead premiere. I didn't get to watch it at the moment it came on, but later that night when I got to my delivery spot after I delivered, I went and watched it on the AMC app. So man, that was fucking crazy. But anyhow, guys, that was the recap for the week, and I'm going to get on out of here and get my laundry finished. As I said, it's 11 o'clock. I got a 7 a.m. delivery. I probably got another hour or so just messing around with laundry. Then I got to go about another 25 minutes back down the road to get near my delivery. I could stay here till morning, but I'm funny acting that way. I'm going to get closer. But anyhow, guys, take care. See you on the next video, man. Yeah.